What would happen if Cristiano Ronaldo won the 2026 World Cup? Can you imagine Cristiano Ronaldo at 41 years old lifting the FIFA World Cup in 2026? The entire world would be in shock. Portugal would become world champions for the very first time, and the debate with Lionel Messi would explode like never before. Today, you're about to see what could be either the perfect ending or the greatest controversy in football history. What would happen if Cristiano Ronaldo won the 2026 World Cup? Would he instantly become the greatest football player of all time? Would the endless debate with Lionel Messi finally come to an end? Many people call it impossible. Others believe football owes him that dream ending. But one thing is certain: if that day ever came, it would become the greatest redemption story in the history of sports. Today, we're going to imagine, step by step, what the world would look like if Cristiano Ronaldo became the 2026 FIFA World Cup champion at the age of 41. For most players, that age marks retirement. But Cristiano Ronaldo has never been an ordinary player. His entire career has been driven by an almost obsessive commitment to discipline, relentless training, and constant self-improvement. While most footballers retire at 34 or 35, Cristiano continues to compete at the highest level, proving that both his body and his ambition are built differently. Within the Portuguese national team, his role is no longer the same as it once was. At the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, he faced heavy criticism after losing his starting spot, as the head coach chose to leave him on the bench during crucial matches. That decision sparked a media storm. Many believed it was the end of Cristiano Ronaldo's international career. It seemed he was destined to leave through the back door. But Cristiano Ronaldo never gives up. He remained a leader in the locker room, a mentor for the younger generation, and his presence continues to be a psychological weapon against both opponents and teammates alike. Whether he plays the full 90 minutes or comes on for the final 30, Cristiano is still Cristiano. A player who commands respect, a player who intimidates, a player who moves millions. As a team, Portugal enters the tournament with one of the most talented generations in its history. Bruno Fernandes, Rafael Leão, João Felix, Bernardo Silva, Ruben Dias, a squad capable of competing with anyone in the world. They already conquered Europe in 2016. Now they dream of winning a World Cup for the very first time. The question is, can Cristiano Ronaldo, at 41 years old, become one of the main heroes of that dream? Can football finally give him the ending that millions of fans have always hoped for? For this story to become reality, Portugal would have to embark on a glorious journey through the 2026 World Cup, and that's where the magic of imagination begins. Picture the group stage. Portugal is drawn into a balanced group featuring several competitive and emerging national teams. At 41 years old, Cristiano can still make the difference. Maybe not with explosive speed anymore, but by appearing exactly when his team needs him the most. Like the ultimate predator inside the penalty area, a penalty goal. A towering header in the 99th minute. A celebration with his iconic "Shoo." The stadiums across the United States, Mexico, and Canada erupt with every goal. Portugal advances to the round of 16. Their opponents underestimate them. They believe Cristiano is finished, but legends always find a way to answer. Then comes the quarterfinals, a dramatic clash against a South American powerhouse, Brazil or Argentina. The eyes of the entire football world are fixed on him. Can he overcome the weight of time? Can he deliver once again, just as he did so many times on Champions League nights? Cristiano's role would be different now, not necessarily the player who carries every minute of every match. Instead, he becomes the spiritual leader. the man who enters at the perfect moment to decide games. His presence creates space, his experience calms the younger players, his hunger for glory inspires the entire squad. If Portugal managed to reach the semi-finals, or even the final, the storyline would be absolutely perfect. The veteran who refused to surrender, the captain guiding a golden generation, and destiny preparing the final chapter of one of football's greatest careers. And if Cristiano Ronaldo scored the winning goal in that final, it wouldn't matter how, it wouldn't matter when. That single moment would be remembered forever as the greatest crowning achievement in football history. The scene is almost impossible to imagine, yet somehow it feels absolutely perfect. A packed stadium somewhere in the United States, Mexico, or Canada. The referee blows the final whistle. Portugal are crowned FIFA World Cup champions for the very first time in history. Cristiano Ronaldo, now 41 years old, drops to his knees. He bursts into tears. Then he leans down and kisses the grass. His teammates rush toward him. They lift him onto their shoulders. At the center of the pitch stands the one trophy that had eluded him for more than 2 decades. With trembling hands, Cristiano Ronaldo raises the FIFA World Cup. The entire world watches. Fans, rivals, critics, everyone. That image would dominate every newspaper, every television broadcast, every social media platform, and every front page around the globe. Cristiano Ronaldo, world champion with Portugal, it would mark a defining moment in football history. Portugal had already experienced unforgettable triumphs by winning UEFA Euro 2016 and the UEFA Nations League. But this would be the greatest achievement of all. It would be the perfect ending for a golden generation that combined youth and experience, with Ronaldo standing forever as its greatest symbol. And for Cristiano himself, it would be complete redemption. For years, he carried the endless comparisons with Lionel Messi. He carried the disappointment of falling short in previous World Cups. He carried the pain of Qatar 2022, where many believed his international career had reached a disappointing end. Winning the 2026 World Cup would erase all of that. It would become the final chapter that transforms an icon into an eternal legend. At that very moment, millions of people would say, there is no more debate. Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest football player of all time. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Every subscription helps this channel continue bringing you more incredible football stories. I'd love to have you as part of the community. If Cristiano Ronaldo lifted the World Cup in 2026, the impact would be global and everlasting. In Portugal, there would be no debate whatsoever. He would surpass Eusebio, Luis Figo, and every other football legend the country has ever produced. He would become the greatest national hero in Portuguese history, the man who led Portugal to the one trophy they had never been able to win. Future generations would remember him as the captain who made the impossible possible. On the global stage, the earthquake would be even greater. The narrative would change overnight. A 41-year-old footballer defying every prediction, lifting the most prestigious trophy in the sport. The media would compare his achievement to Diego Maradona's legendary 1986 World Cup, or Lionel Messi's unforgettable triumph in 2022. But with one extraordinary difference. Cristiano would have done it at the very end of his career, at the moment when almost everyone believed he was finished. And suddenly, the greatest debate in football history would take a completely unexpected turn. For many people, Messi's World Cup victory in Qatar had already settled the argument. But if Cristiano Ronaldo won the World Cup in 2026 at the age of 41, That achievement would become one of the strongest arguments ever made in his favor. Millions would say Messi won it during his prime. Cristiano won it when nobody believed he still could. Social media would explode. The football world would split into two sides once again. Some would declare Cristiano Ronaldo the undisputed GOAT. Others would insist that the debate should remain open forever. But one thing would be impossible to deny. With the World Cup finally in his hands, Cristiano Ronaldo would occupy a place in football history that no one could ever erase, the place reserved only for immortal legends. But even if Cristiano Ronaldo lifted the FIFA World Cup in 2026, the criticism would never truly disappear. Because football, just like life, always finds people willing to question greatness. Some would say that Portugal won because of its incredible generation of players, not because of Cristiano. Others would argue that at 41 years old, he was no longer the unstoppable force he once was, claiming he simply played a supporting role while his teammates carried the team to glory. They would point to Bruno Fernandes, Rafael Leao, Bernardo Silva, or Ruben Dias as the real heroes of Portugal's triumph, minimizing Cristiano's contribution. And then, the comparison with Lionel Messi would ignite once again, stronger than ever. His critics would argue Messi won the World Cup as the tournament's main star. Cristiano barely played, but his supporters would fire back with a powerful counter-argument. Messi won it at 35. Cristiano won it at 41, when nobody thought it was even possible. Sports analysts would spend weeks debating it on television. Former players would offer their opinions. Journalists would publish endless articles. Fans would battle across social media. And once again, the football world would become deeply divided over one man. Because if there's one thing Cristiano Ronaldo has always inspired, it's passion. People either love him or they hate him. But nobody is ever indifferent, and perhaps that would be the greatest proof of his legacy. Even as a World Cup champion, he would remain controversial, debated, admired, criticized, and forever at the center of football's biggest conversation. Cristiano Ronaldo's career has always been defined by ambition, discipline, and an endless hunger for greatness. From the small island of Madeira to Manchester, Madrid, Turin, and Saudi Arabia. He has left an unforgettable mark wherever he has played, but throughout his incredible career, there was always one missing piece: the FIFA World Cup. If, in 2026, at 41 years old, Cristiano Ronaldo finally lifted the most prestigious trophy in football, it wouldn't simply be another title. It would become the greatest redemption story the sport has ever witnessed. The perfect ending for a player who refused to surrender, a man who challenged time itself, who turned criticism into fuel, who kept competing long after the football world believed he was finished. Football history would forever remember the story of the veteran who defied the impossible, the man who refused to fade away quietly, the player who finished his career standing at the highest peak imaginable. If Cristiano Ronaldo wins the 2026 World Cup, the GOAT debate may never truly end. But his place in football history would become untouchable, the place of an immortal legend, the man who turned the impossible into glory. Now it's your turn. Do you believe Cristiano Ronaldo can lift the FIFA World Cup in 2026? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more football stories filled with drama, glory, and unforgettable moments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.